You know, they're in there. They have like 3 kayaks and like old John boat. But it's probably like a rubber truck.
Or plastic.
Plastic or rubber that if it hits something would bend, but it's still functioning. Still the mail just is like those. This man will follow me.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready. Good. Good evening. I'd like to call the Tuesday, October 16th, 2018, City of Oldsmar City Council meeting to order. If you'll please rise for our invocation and our pledge that will be led by our city attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Our Heavenly Father, we meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, and to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, as well as the rights and needs of both the individual and our community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and our efforts here today. This we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and once again, welcome. Our first item tonight is our Citizens Open Forum. We only have a couple of rules that you state your name and address clearly for the record. You keep it to no more than 5 minutes, and you can speak towards items on tonight's agenda. However, if you're talking on items 9, 10, 11, or 12, those are public hearings, and we'll call for comments at that time. Having said that, anybody on this side of the council like to address? Yep. Jerry?
Jerry Antozzi, 509 Shore Drive East. I'm the volunteer curator at the Oldsmar Historical Society, and I was not in town, but I heard you had a fantastic barbecue this weekend.
Yes.
And some of the council members came, and Dan was the cook.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. And he did a pretty good job, too.
He did, yes.
Eat all the burgers.
Ate all the burgers. I heard you brought a pie, too. I see. Word travels. But another reason I'm up here is November 10th. We have a very nice program. It's with Ken Sidorowicz. He's the author of the book, Gullair Village Through the Years, From Horses to Hearses. He would explain why the title is what it is. Gullair Village is the largest senior community in Oldsmar, established in 1976, and home to a very important voting precinct. So those running for office, I'm sure would visit there. But come on out. It's Saturday, November 10th, right here in City Council Chambers at 10 a.m. But I thought I'd get a head start because the next meeting is pretty close to the 10th. So, and I was going to practice saying when I came up to say to the mayor and city council, and I practiced with Jerry Beaverland how to say Al's name, Breathwaite, and I forgot to say it, but I'm glad to be speaking in front of all of you.
Did you get it right?
Close.
Okay.
Good enough for government work.
I just call you Al. Anybody else on this side of the room like to address the council? Yep, Becky.
Becky Afonso, 174B State Street East. Good evening, Mayor, Council, Al. Tom, of course. Ann, Kathy. We got it now?
You're out of time.
All right, thank you. On behalf of the Friends of the Library, I would like to make an announcement that the zombie apocalypse will be this Friday at 6 p.m. In addition to the Historical Society event on Saturday, November 10th, the Friends of the Library is actually hosting a craft fair and mini book sale at the library starting at 11, going till 3. So you can actually listen in on Ken and then head over to the library for the craft fair. And if anybody needs additional information, that is on our website. Separate from the Friends of the Library, I would like to say that I attended the community forum that was here couple weeks ago Wednesday with regards to single-use plastics. And I would like the council to consider having sustainability as part of your Citizens Academy, maybe in a separate night and not wrapped in with other nights, or have a separate academy for sustainability that could include how not to contaminate recycling and composting. So just something to consider. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else on this side of the room? Did I miss anybody? Anybody on this side of the room? Yep, Jerry?
Jerry Custin, Upper Tampa Bay Chamber, 101 State Street West. We have coming up this weekend I think it's our 23rd annual Oktoberfest, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday up at the Tampa Bay Downs. And I have free tickets for anybody. I'll put them back here on the table on the way out. So anybody wants to take them, you can go ahead and do that. We'll have all the time, and our master of ceremonies will be Mayor Beavis most of the time, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So we'll do that. We have the big carnival out there, a lot of vendors, and two things on Sunday that's different. We have a VW show and also our second annual dachshund races.
Yeah,
so
that's fun.
we may have 42 dachshunds out there racing, so that's fun. That's 1 o'clock. And then the following weekend, we're keeping the Big Tent up. The Big Tent's already up. We're keeping the Big Tent up, and we're going to do something with Jan Stevens and Crossroad Foundation Friday the 26th. That'll be called Legendary Voices of Rock, include Kansas, people from the band Kansas, Loverboy and Beaver Brown Band, and then Saturday on that, after that, we're going to have a craft brew fest with up to 100 different varieties of craft beers. And then in the evening, we're having something called Boo Fest. It's a free entry to that. And that'll be a costume party. And we're having a Shake Society as a band.
Cool.
So I'll put the tickets back here. Anybody want them?
Thank you. By the way, this monitor's out, so if you want to readjust for that, somehow we lost signal to it today, so you only get half the show tonight. Anybody else on this side of the room like to address the council? No? Seeing no one, we'll close the Citizens Open Forum. Mayor's Minute, a couple of recaps, and then some new items. Thank you to Hurricane Michael. Thank you to the members of our Emergency Operations Center for being proactive last week as Hurricane Michael skirted the Tampa Bay area. The city's new sandbag station operation was activated, offering peace of mind for our residents and businesses. What damage we have seen so far, especially at Mexico Beach, should serve as a reminder of the power of a storm surge and how it can impact the community and how important it is to evacuate and be prepared year-round. Our thoughts and prayers are with those who are impacted by this horrific event. Alert Pinellas, just a reminder to sign up for the new Emergency and Communications Notification Service, Alert Pinellas. This is a free service for our residents and businesses. Upcoming events, Jerry just told you, the annual Top of the Bay Oktoberfest, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Tampa Bay Downs. $5 admission, 12 and under, free military ID, free parking, log sawing, stein holding, keg hurling, authentic German food, drinking, music, and dancing, VW car, wiener dog races on Saturday. Annual Guns and Hoses, that's also going on out there. If you're attending this weekend's festivities, be sure to witness what has become an annual fight for bragging rights between the fire departments and the sheriff's office during the Hot Wing Challenge hosted by the Holiday Sharing Fund. Ghostbusters Halloween Party, Friday, October 26, 2:30 to 4:30 at the library. Free family-friendly event with Suncoast Ghostbusters and 501 Legion, crafts, games, and more for those 12 and under. Annual Halloween happenings, Friday, October 26, 6 to 9, Mobley Bayou Wilderness Preserve. Free event featuring costume contests, zip line specials, spooky walking paths, bounce houses, and more. And once again, the Mobile Electronics and Chemical Collection, Saturday, October 27th, 9 to 2 p.m. at North County Satellite Center. Free opportunity to properly dispose of items. That's at 29582 U.S. Highway 19 North, located behind the North County Government Center, south of Curlew's, just a little bit further south of Home Depot. It's a great event, and you're in and out of there in no time. I've used it a couple of times. And just on a side note, earlier today, I don't know if you watched the news, we had a couple residents and our zipline people that called Florida Wildlife Commission, and we had 3 manatees that have been stuck in one of our ponds back by the zip lines. They've been there since the hurricane. The surge lifted them over the wall, and then they got stuck. And so I actually was out there early this morning before they got there. I didn't know they were on their way. And then I was out there. If I smell a little bit like fish, I apologize. But I was out there and I was talking to the chief veterinarian. And lo and behold, he yells as they're slowly corralling this manatee in. He yells, "Mayor, jump on the line!" So I'm helping pull the line, and we slowly corralled it and got it in. And it was pretty amazing, the teamwork that went into doing it. Once they got it into a very small area, they took the bottom of the net and brought it to the top, much like a taco. And immediately lifted them out of the water. So it was never a bucket item list, but I'm able to mark off manatee rescue. I'll add that to my resume, as Chip said. So if you can roll the video, this is from the first 2 manatees that were caught earlier this afternoon. This is how it went. They got them both at one time.
This is the second time in the last 10 years
Yep.
this has happened.
I mean, it's such a machine how they do this.
Probably should have turned your horn off, Mayor.
Yeah, I know. So I apologize for that. This was for the first 2. I was there for the third one.
Okay,
We just
okay.
brought the third one out about an hour
How
ago.
long can it make it without water?
It looks like they were pouring water on it.
They were keeping it hydrated.
Breathe air.
Yeah.
You have to keep water on them.
Like Tom said, they breathe air, so pretty cool. I don't know how long, to answer your question. I was down there and the other one was out before I left for probably 15, 20 minutes. The first 2 checked out okay. They literally draw blood, take urine and all kinds of samples from them, take all their vitals, do a sonogram on them. And the first 2 were able to be released, and hopefully the third one will be released as well. So pretty cool. You'll probably see Oldsmar all over the news because all the TV crews were down there. But it was fun to be on the net and pulling it up when they bring it out of the water. So anyway, you'll see us all over the news. So that
Mayor,
wraps up.
you realize that doesn't count the same as catching a big fish. You know that, right?
I get
I reeled in a 300-pounder one time.
I get like probably 1/20th the credit of that, don't I? Yeah, something like that. So it was neat. Actually, and to staff, I told Al that Fish and Wildlife is going to probably look into some way to try and do something to that stormwater structure that would maybe help keep that from happening. Probably something as simple as a fence that would allow water to ingress and egress, but keep that from happening. So thanks to everybody that came out there. From Clearwater Marine Aquarium and USF, School of Veterinary, and all the volunteers. It was quite the effort out there. So at any rate, next item is our awards and recognition. First is the presentation of the Employee Service Awards, and we have a couple. Is that right, Al?
3 of them.
3 of them. And our city manager, Al, will be giving those.
Okay, everybody say my last name all together now.
Braithwaite.
Wait. Wow, audience participation.
I'm a former teacher. All right.
Wait.
We have 3 service awards tonight. 2 for 10-year anniversaries and 1 for 30. The first young man I'd like to have come up here is Matthew Mast. Well, first of all, we have to.
Gotta get the
to that
mic.
one. There's Matt's employment picture, looking pretty serious. We pulled that out of his files just to embarrass him. He looks very serious. I'll bet your wife didn't even see that. I'll bet you.
Al, do you want to get the microphone?
Mike or at least the stand-up one.
Yeah, I really need this, don't I? Anyway, Okay, you want to introduce your family? Because I know mom and dad, and I've never met your wife. Who'd you bring?
Brought Jessie. There's my fiance.
Jessie?
Kylie right there.
She's beautiful.
That's my mom, Brenda. That's Morgan, my other daughter.
Let's pop out.
That's my dad, Don.
Don't already remember, Don is a former community policing officer for us. Great guy, great family, and we welcome them here tonight. I do have one question, and it's kind of a running joke. I'm not sure everybody will remember it, but we have, for some strange reason, an inordinately high number of employees whose middle name is Tyler. And the question is always asked, were mom and dad Aerosmith fans by chance? Just wondering. Anyway, Matt was employed with us on October 6th, 2008. Here she comes. Hi, baby girl. She's a cutie. He was hired as a maintenance operator in the Streets Division of Public Works. Countryside alum. There's more to that later. And in Matt's career here, this is special, and it's a common theme. I've told you before about the people that stay here for a long time, of which we have many of them, and that's a wonderful thing, but you see a common denominator theme to this in regards to awards. Matt was nominated for the Brunson Streckengost Award in 2009, and listen to this, nominated for the City Manager's Impact Award in 2009, 10, again in 11, and again in 2014. Amazing. Consistently the hardest working division in the city, in my opinion. He worked in the Streets Division. He happened to also be transferred today to the Stormwater Division. The Stormwater and the Streets guys do a lot of the same things, so sometimes we change them, but he does a great job there. I look at his personnel file, and in his 10 evaluations, the common themes I see over and over again. All of his evaluations were great. The words I keep hearing: never complains, always upbeat, accepts criticism, does exactly what you tell him. Obviously, mom and dad raised him right. He had 10 commendations in the 10 years he's been here. And Matt, we want to congratulate you for your 10-year anniversary. And here's to wishing you well for another 20 at least. Oh, I forgot the important part. Here's the plaque. And here's the money. Dad, would you like to say something? You?
For the service.
All right. Thank you, brother. I really don't need this, do I?
Need it for the audio.
Jerry's in the background. There we go. Thank you.
Should get one of the kids. So cute.
He's a cutie.
Did you catch that, Dawn? Jerry's in the back, so she moves.
Nice seeing you all again.
Thanks, Don.
She's beautiful. All right. Moving right along. Our second award is another 10-year award. Michael, thanks for coming. It's great leadership. This one is kind of personal for me, and I'll tell you why as we get through it. So when I make fun of him, you know I have a reason to. Currently, he is our interim fire chief, and his name is Tom Rennan. Family? All right, I know Stephanie by face. Is this Sydney?
Yes.
Hi, Dawn. How are you? Hi, Sydney. Sydney worked for us too, I believe. Okay. Tom, here's your plaque. Dawn, here's the money. Sydney, I guess. All right. The reason this is personal for me is Tom and I kind of grew up together. I started my municipal career as the finance director of the city of Madeira Beach a long, long time ago. And Tom's first job out of the fire academy was a firefighter EMT in the city of Madeira Beach. So we go back a long way together. We've been together for a lot of years. I also know Tom's family very well. There's a lot of them. And there's probably a little story I can tell you, but where's the picture? All right.
Well, that's pretty basic, although it's 10 years ago. I did have another picture of him from his driver's license that I so badly wanted to put up there because it looked like a mugshot, and his hair was like this. Am I doing any better? No? All right. But I couldn't do it because we're not allowed to put the addresses for public safety employees in the public eye, and I didn't have time to redact it. Anyway, so all right, we've introduced the family. Tom is currently our interim fire and EMS chief. Go back to that common theme I said about the people that stay here a long time. Oftentimes, the awards just are amazing, the number of them. And okay, even for people that don't receive the actual award, the nomination really means something to the people, and it means something to us. So just to be nominated is sometimes, as good as receiving the award, I guess without the money. All right, so let's change gears a little bit. Tom was hired as a firefighter EMT on 10-608. We go back a long way, as I said, in Madeira Beach. Tom was promoted to lieutenant in March of 2015. He was promoted again to an administrative lieutenant in 2017, and now he's got a shot at the real job. He's our interim fire chief. So the other common theme I was talking about was how often our longevity and our longtime employees get promoted, continue to excel, get nominated for awards, that kind of thing. Should I tell the Mongolian grill story? Probably not.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
All right. What's Wendy's daughter's name? I never get that right. Brooke. Okay, so Tom has a rather distinct family resemblance, and he's got 7 brothers and sisters? Yes, sir. Okay, he's got 7 brothers and sisters. Since all the way back to the Madeira days, I've been to ball games with the family. I know most of his brothers and sisters, but I don't know their kids. My wife and I, 4 or 5 years ago, are eating at Mongolian Grill. Yes, I was depressed when that left. And the waitress, my wife and I go out to eat a lot, and the waitress came by, a very nice young lady, 18 years old, and she was serving us, and I looked at her and I went to my wife, I went, that's gotta be a Brennan. Absolutely has to be a Brennan. So my wife goes, yeah, right. So she comes back over, and I said, young lady, are you a Brennan? She went, yes. It was Tom's oldest sister's youngest daughter. Your youngest sister's oldest daughter. One of those. Anyway.
She's 30 now, by the way.
Anyway,
Wow.
Beautiful young lady. And I'll take this one step further, and it's probably not going to add anything to the story, but what the heck. We have a beautiful woman who works in the library whose name is Heidi Brennan. Heidi Brennan, in my opinion, looks just like him, and she's not related. What are you going to do? Anyway, family legacy. Tom's sister, Marianne, worked in the Oldsmar Fire Department for years. Tom's brother-in-law, John Donnelly, worked in the Madeira Beach Fire Department. Mary Donnelly was related to you by marriage, Mary, right?
Mary John.
No, I don't marry it, but isn't John's mom related to you? Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Told you about the first job. So here's the part that I really wanted to tell you about. While we're in Madeira Beach, after enduring the embarrassment of me blocking the vast majority of his shots whenever we played basketball, Tom decided to take a job in the city of Dunedin, where he worked his way up to become a district chief in charge of training. Very impressive. I also heard that his jump shot got better. Now, he should be challenging me now because you'd probably kill me now. Anyway, that's an inside joke. I apologize. Tom serves on the city's grievance board. He serves as the planning division chief in the city's emergency operations center, and has served as the city's operations chief in the city's emergency operations center. Very, very important position. You could make the argument the most important position. He's a member of the Hazmat Incident Management Team for the state of Florida, Region 4. He is a NIMS ICS certified incident commander. He has all kinds of training, too many certifications to list here. But if you'd like to hear the most interesting one, because transcripts are in his personnel file, the effects of expanded polystyrene products on fire behavior. Is that like a psychology course or something? I thought it was a blast. Nobody else seems to agree. And I thought accounting for fixed assets was bad. He's also possibly a movie star because in his personnel file, there was a thank you note to Tom, Kenny Cerrone, Chris Caberna, Danny Abrami, and Alex Fidel, assisted in the shooting of a movie, which I did not know about.
He has dolphin tail.
What was that all about? It's called The Favorite in March of 2017. Is it out yet, or did they?
Fighting movie. It just came out. It just came out.
You know you have to turn over royalties to the city, right? Okay, just checking. Perfect Attendance Award in 2014, 2015. I want to say something there because that's special, but I'll be nice. He's got 23 commendations in his file. Tom was also nominated for the City Manager's Impact Award in September 2013, participated in an assessment center for other positions in Palm Harbor, Lieutenant and District Chief, which is important because when you get asked by other cities to participate in their hiring processes, that's a compliment all by itself, so we appreciate that. Early on in his career, he was actually a substitute teacher at West Chase Elementary. That was fun. Yeah. Some of us are mentoring children at the elementary school, and I have one tomorrow at noonish. I'm psyched out of my tree. I've met with him before. I love the kid already, so it's kind of cool. All right, sorry to gas bag on here, Tom. Big Finish, congratulations on your 10-year anniversary. Here's hoping for at least 10 more. Thanks, Stevie.
I don't speak like you do.
That's why I turned it off.
Thank you. But my proudest moment happened last Wednesday. I blocked Brian's shot.
Nice. All reference, see? That's why I was telling you.
My jump shot isn't any better.
No better?
Ask Brian.
It's good. I could hurt him, I know that.
No, it's been a privilege working the last 10 years here, and I can't believe how fast it's gone by. Even my daughter, Sydney, goes, I can't believe it's 10 years. It's been 10 years since you've been here already. But yeah, I'm very proud of my kids, my wife, and another 10 years would be great, and I hope I've served you well as the interim fire chief. My term ends on Halloween. You have two great candidates coming up following me, but I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Hey, Al. Did your mom have anything to do with the fire department?
Yes, yes, we did.
What city?
This one. We volunteering here?
His mom was a volunteer fireman in the city of Oldsmar, right? Back in the 70s?
83.
83?
Very cool. Yeah. And she followed me, by the way. I was a volunteer in the city, one of the more last city employees to volunteer, because she worked in plans, not permitting. And so she said, well, I'll volunteer with my son.
And she did.
Yes, she did.
Here, quick, Jerry, go photobomb. A photo. Thank you.
I know, that's why I figured I got a shot. Thank you, guys. All right, last and certainly not least, this one's a doozer. This is for 30 years. Brian Harold Smith. Are you? That's the best picture ever. That's the best picture
Is that a
of
beer
any we've
shirt?
had.
That's a beer shirt.
That's a beer. Who said beer?
He smiles pretty much all the time. Bro, you want to bring your family out?
Yeah, they're supposed
That's hilarious.
Come on, guys. You follow Dad, right?
That's when they didn't give you uniforms.
Yeah, Moosehead beer is not a uniform.
Family?
Yes, this is my wife Jody, my daughter Helena, Diana, and Nathan.
All right.
So,
Very cool.
yep.
Thank you. All right. So, in tradition, here's your service award for 30 years, Bri. Here's your service award for 30 years. Smith. All right. Brian Smith, date of hire October 5th, 1988, celebrating his 30-year anniversary tonight officially. You were raised in Oldsmar.
Yes.
Love it. Played high school basketball at Countryside.
Yep.
Coach Heinz or Coach O'Neill?
No, Neil. It was just JV. So.
All right, it's okay, still good. We have Brian's mom was a wonderful citizen of this community. Currently, the stage at Ari Olds Park is named after his mom, Elizabeth Smith. Amazing dedication. Brian was hired. He's employee number 36, which is more entertaining for us than it is for you guys, because the first of the employees means they've been here the longest. And we probably started the system shortly before he was hired. But I remember, I think Charlie is number 3, right? Yeah, so he's close to the oldest, so to speak. Who was your first supervisor?
That was a good question.
Steve Vien?
That's the director, yeah, Steve Yen.
Okay. Promoted, again, go back to the common theme about promotions. Promoted to maintenance operator 1 in 1989 within 1 year of being hired. Promoted to crew leader 10/1/91. Brian is also on the grievance board and has been the chairman of the Employee Action Committee, which are both very, very important roles that suggest that he's highly thought of and regarded by his fellow employees. Back to the promotions, he was promoted to Parks Foreman in October of '95. Brian is a certified arborist, a playground safety inspector, and he does about everything we can possibly ask him to do. There's something in his file that there was an official document that had you celebrating your 9-year anniversary. You know what that's about? I have no idea. I mean, we usually do 5, 10, 15. There was something in his file. Congratulations on your 9th anniversary.
Thank you.
I don't know what that is. His last supervisor was Lynn Reeves. Chances are his worst supervisor was Jeff Clark, but only because Jeff isn't here, we make fun of him. He wrote his own evaluation in year 2000, which I've seen. I remember Dean did it and some other people did it, so of course he did very well on it. Brian won the Brunson Streckengost Award in May of 2001. He was promoted to grounds maintenance technician in October of '02. That's his 4th promotion. He was the Council Manager Award winner in October '05. And after a long drought of lacking promotions, after 4 in 10 years, he has recently been promoted to Parks Operations Supervisor, finally. Congratulations. Brian continues to serve on the city's grievance board. He has been the chairman of the EAC, as I mentioned, heavily involved in the Relay for Life. I believe part of that is through your church? Yes. He's there every year. He sets the event up as a city employee. He cooks and participates with the church. He tears the thing down, never stops working for his organization or his community. Here's the one that blows me away. Perfect Attendance Award winner, 2015-16, 2014-15, 2013-14, 2012-13, 2011-12, 2010-11, 2009-10, 2008-9, 2007-8. And in case you were wondering, yes, he won it for this year as well. We have nobody else that comes close to that, and you guys listen to that. The most reliable guy we've got shows up every day, all year, for 10 years in a row. Unbelievable. Again, from his file, Brian got in trouble once. He got in trouble once for working too long in the course of a day. I sincerely apologize for that. I had nothing to do with it, but I apologize. This guy will do whatever it takes without being told. We need 100 of these guys. And by the way, the manager that counseled Brian on this failed probation, and that person's gone. So I'm not sure if one had anything to do with the other, but we have a tough time counseling people that are working too hard. Brian, too, has taken a great deal of training in his field, and my last one bombed, so why not have this one bomb? Here is Brian's most interestingly named course that he took, Roots to Shoots. Wasn't sure if that was parks or active shooter training. I'm not sure. Brian has over 20 commendations in his file. Congratulations on a tremendous 30 years, Brian. We are greatly in debt to you for your dedication, pride in your work, and especially in your showing up to do it, and the positive example you set for others to follow every single day. Thank you for all you have done. Here's to another 30.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks my family too, and our new director and our old director and everyone else involved. As I'll say, time flies when you're having fun. I still really enjoy my work. It's rewarding to me serving the community and serving where I grew up and trying to have everything look as nice as possible. But we do our best, and thank you.
You do a great job.
Thank you.
Guys,
Jerry's still back.
I'm back here too.
I'll hide.
I'll hide too. I'll hide too.
Where's your award? There you go. Oh, there you Thank you.
I've known Brian since he was this tall. I told you one time, don't get any taller than I did, and he became a foot taller than I am. You're incredible, my friend.
Awesome. Congratulations to everybody. Our next item is the presentation of the Homer Brunson Ward Schreckengoss Governmental Award for the third quarter 2018. Got a little video to tell you about it.
The Homer Brunson and Ward Schreckengoss Award was instituted in 1991. And what it was for, it was for one of our workers here in the city that was chosen by their peers to win the Ward Schreckengoss and Homer Brunson Award. And what the award is, it serves two purposes. One, to recognize an outstanding worker here that works for the city of Oldsmar. And the other, what it serves is that Ward Schreckengoss and Homer Brunson were both council members here in the city of Oldsmar. Ward Schreckengoss served as mayor for 16 years. His last year on the council serving was 1970. I had the privilege of serving with him on his last year. And Homer Brunson served 11 years as a council member and 1 year as a mayor. And this serves two purposes: to honor Ward Schreckengoss and Homer Brunson, and to honor one of the incredible workers we have in the city of Oldsmar.
And if I can ask Mandy Clark to come up.
here comes Miss Kendall.
Oh. So cute.
Hi. You look so cute. I'm gonna wear that thing tonight too, but I'm sorry. Yeah. I'll read what was written about Mandy for the nomination. Mandy Clark was critical in the development of the city. The city's development of the city's online contractor portal for permit inspections, aka RSP/CitizenLink. Mandy worked directly with the project manager and programming at our vendor, ADG. She worked with contractors to get them set up with account login credentials. She also trained contractors on using the new system. Mandy also helped with getting contractors set up to receive text message updates from the CitizenLink portal. As the administrator of the completed project, Mandy has become a liaison between the contractors and planning and IT and ADG. She provides support to ADG to her coworkers and portal support to the building contractors using their private mobile devices. The Citizens Link project is part of the council's vision for connected cities, and Mandy's efforts were and continue to be essential to carry out that vision. So I will present this to you and read it. It is the Homer Brunson Ward Schreckengoss Governmental Award presented to Mandy Clark for her outstanding service, dedication, and leadership to the City of Oldsmar 2018 third quarter. It goes along, it gets a check, I'll give that to you, and it gets an extra day off. So.
Sure. So I guess there's some thanks that are due. I didn't obviously complete this project on my own. So I'd like to thank Administrative Services and IT for inviting me to join the project. Also setting up the payment portals and SMS text messaging notifications. I could go on. And of course, my boss, Marie Dauphiné, for allowing me the flexibility to manage my time and be able to allow time for the project. And the planning redevelopment team, all together, since we work so great. And of course, they're covering me in my absence in meetings and whatnot. So thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. It was definitely a council priority, not only for Connected City, But one of the things that we continued to hear was just the ability to communicate and better communicate with our contractors. And as technologies change, I think this is a great addition, and it really speeds along the process too. So congratulations. I don't know if any of the council members have anything to add to that.
It's a very exciting step forward for the city, and I know how hard Mandy worked on it, and Mike Hurley and a whole group of people. But I will tell you, it's a big step forward. And, you know, I think we had a conversation about this. For a city our size, to make that kind of step, I think it impresses a lot of builders and people who we work with, that they start to have this option now. So it's a great job.
Great positive feedback, and yes, thank Mike Curley for enduring our weekly meetings.
Yeah, and it was, really difficult, you know, to make sure that it worked and, you know, worked on mobile devices and everything. So awesome work. A lot of stuff behind the scenes. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Andy.
Get a picture.
Oh. No tiara? Oh.
I get it all right.
So cute.
Hey, Kendall. Right here, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Our next item is the, Our next item is the Council Manager Award, and we take turns selecting somebody to receive the award. And this month it is my selection, and I selected Deb Pauley Vitrelli. So if she will come up.
Selfie will be involved?
Yeah, selfie.
Oh, we got to do a selfie?
Got to do a selfie for the picture.
I love it.
So I wrote this beautiful story about Deb, and I'll go ahead and read it. I can remember the day that Deb Pauley Vitrelli approached me at Freedom Fest in 2013 to let me know she was applying for what was then the communications specialist position with the city of Oldsmar. Having known Deb for over 18 years, I've always known when she was excited about something because she never lets something die down or quits pushing to get the desired result she wants. That hasn't changed since her first day on the job. As a resident back in her first few years of employment, she was always on top of what was going on in the community, which transpired into her position quite nicely. Her many years of the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber involvement provided her a great background in understanding the importance of the main relationships that Deb would eventually intertwine into my elected role as mayor of our great city. Her interests and ideas are always for the betterment of our community, and as evident by the many events she has spearheaded: ribbon-cutting ceremonies, community coffee with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, tree lighting ceremonies at City Hall, the People's Centennial, and Fifth Fridays are just a few that pop in my head. When Deb was named the city's marketing specialist, nothing slowed her down in exploring more facets and getting our city somewhere well-deserved recognition. Her background in tourism marketing allowed her to develop key relations with those in the tourism industry. The city became an official partner with Visit Florida, allowing Deb the opportunity to submit City Hall as a certified visitor information center and creating a welcome station under the stairs in a space that was used mainly as a set place for remnant furniture and old pianos. Her vision of proper representation on the Pinellas County Tourist Development Council helped me earn a seat on the TDC, thus allowing North County to finally have a presence on this important tourism board. That's an understatement. She worked her butt off to get us on there. So, and actually tomorrow is my very last meeting. So her public relations experience helped create a buzz in the Tampa Bay as Oldsmar campaign for consideration as the next location for the Tampa Bay Rays Stadium. Deb's management style helped us with other first ever press conferences held in this very room. Her vision helped create the marketing materials that were presented to the Rays management team. The People's Centennial Celebration was honored by the Florida League of Cities as the City Spirit Award winner for 2017. The award submission was done single-handedly by Deb, and on her first attempt at such a prestigious recognition, this award fetched statewide recognition to our city. I think the award's still outside, isn't it?
No,
You did, okay. During 2017-18, Deb launched the My Oldsmar mobile application, providing a new means towards achieving another city council priority for connected communities. Her passion for her job is contagious. She was recently selected as one of 11 across the state of Florida to serve on the inaugural board and elected secretary for the Florida Municipal Communicators Association, a new organization managed under the Florida League of Cities. She also continues to represent Oldsmar by serving on the advisory boards for 211, Tampa Bay Cares, and Pinellas Technical College. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
I will read this. The Manager Award presented to Deb Pauley Vitrelli, October 2018. Congratulations. I know you're always short on words, so I'll hold this and you can hold that.
Well, I might cry because coming from you, this just means so much. So, no, I'm truly honored, and to help you and assist you as well as council and, Al and Ann and everybody else. It's just a dream come true for me. So, yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I got to say, Deb and I had a little bit different relationship than the clerk's office, who they are tremendous for me and keep me in check. But she's always been great in providing me information. I remember when I first became mayor and I met with all the county commissioners about trying to get us on the TDC. Deb had maps and charts and tables about what we had in North County as far as events and where all the other TDC members were. And so whenever I went somewhere, Deb made sure that I was prepared. So she is much deserving of this. So congratulations. Yay!
Thank you.
This won't be as good, but I'm going to try my best.
Awesome. Congratulations. Oh, we doing a selfie?
Yes.
With the seal in the back? Deb always makes sure that the seal's in the back.
They're getting out. There you go.
And I'm sure that'll be on Facebook in about 3.5 seconds.
Yeah. Congratulations, Deb.
Congrats, Deb.
Well deserved.
Way to go, Buzz.
Our next item is a proclamation for Friends of the Library. And I'm going to have Jerry Beaver. You are Jerry Beaverland, right?
That's kind of surprising. Thank you. Oldsmar of the Mayor, Office of the Mayor, Oldsmar, Florida, proclamation, Friends of the Library Week. Whereas Friends of the Oldsmar Library raise money that enables our library to move from good to great, providing the resources for additional programming, much-needed equipment, support for children's summer reading, and special events throughout the year. Whereas the work of the Friends highlight on an ongoing basis the fact that our library is the cornerstone of the community, providing opportunities for all to engage in the joy of long learning and connect with the thoughts and ideas of others from ages past to the present. Whereas the Friends understand the critical importance of well-funded libraries and advocate to ensure that our library gets the resources it needs to provide a wide variety of services to all ages, including access to print, electronic materials, along with expert assistant and research readers, advisory, and children's services. And whereas the Friends' gift of their time and their commitment to the library sets an example for all in how volunteerism leads to positive civic engagement and the betterment of our community. Now, therefore, I, Doug Beavis, the Mayor of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of October 21 through 27, 2018 as Friends of the Library Week in the city of Oldsmar
and urge everyone to join the Friends of the Library and to thank them for all that they do to make our library community so much better. 16th of October, 2018, Doug Beavis, Mayor.
Cool. Go give it to him. Susan, you can come up. Jerry, Becky, come on up. Friends of the Library. All the friends.
Friends of the Library. I know I'm the board president, and I'm not sure the rest of the board could make it, but
I'm a member. You just go.
I got this. Thank you.
You got it.
The Friends of the Library are extremely important. It's
Get the mic.
extremely important. Is that thing working? This is working. The if you can't donate your time, donate your money. When I wrote the 4 books on the history of Oldsmar, I gave them to the Friends of the Library to sell. I don't know.
We got plans.
What I think of the Friends and my beautiful wife, we have donated to the library over $16,000 over the years.
Shows.
And write the history.
Sure. We live it every day, right, Jerry?
Thank you.
All right. We getting a photo? Just thank you for the proclamation, Mayor. Appreciate it. Again, we've got an event Friday of Zombie Apocalypse, and we keep charging. And I like what Jerry said there. If you can't donate the time, donate the money. Thank you.
Let's make them.
A matter of time.
I love it. That was great.
Still need a city seal.
Congratulations and thank you, Jerry, for doing that. I know the library means a lot to you, so, yep. We have nothing in the CRA, so we'll move to the consent docket. We have 4 items. Approve the minutes of September 18th, 2018 City Council meeting. Approve the minutes of October 2nd, 2018 City Council meeting. Approve payment to legal counsel and approve the tentative agenda for November 6th, 2018. If nobody wishes to pull anything, I need a motion. Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Nothing under the City of Oldsmar. City Attorney.
Yes, I've got 4 ordinances I'm going to read tonight. The first one is ordinance 2018-11. I'm going to read that by title only. Ordinance 2018-11, an ordinance declaring the intention of the City of Oldsmar, Florida to annex certain real property located in Section 22, Township 28 South, Range 16 East, further described as Lot 13, Block 16, map of Section Number 1, West Oldsmar. Parcel number 22, 28, 16, 96660, 016-0130 into the corporate limits of the City of Oldsmar and providing for the effect of this ordinance. That was the second and final reading of ordinance 2018-11 by title only, and it requires a public hearing.
This is a public hearing. Does anybody from the public wish to address this item? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. I need a motion for discussion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? This is a second reading.
One at a time.
There you go. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember McKee?
Yes.
Councilmember Beverly?
Absolutely.
Mayor Vivas?
Aye.
Ordinance 2018-11, annexing 3136 St. Clair Avenue into the corporate limits of the City of Oldsmar is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 10 is the second and final reading of ordinance 2018-12. I'll read that by title only. An ordinance declaring the intention of the City of Oldsmar, Florida to annex certain real property located in Section 22, Township 28 South, Range 16 East, further described as Lot 19, Block 17, map of Section Number 1, West Oldsmar, parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9660, 017, 0190, into the corporate limits of the City of Oldsmar and providing for the effective date of this ordinance. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2018-12 by title only, and it requires a public hearing.
This also is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to address this item? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on this?
One more.
What did we say this brings us up to, about 56% or 54? 56%.
I always think back when they sued us.
Yeah.
We finally lost.
Yes, exactly. If no other discussion, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Seidel? Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember McKee?
Yes.
Councilmember Beaverland?
Yes.
Mayor Beavis?
Aye.
On ordinance 2018-12, annexing 3168 Huron Avenue into the corporate limits of the city of Oldsmar is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 11 on your agenda is the second and final reading of ordinance 2018-13. I'll read that by title only. An ordinance declaring the intention of the city of Oldsmar, Florida to annex certain real property located in section 22, township 28 south, range 16 east, further described as lot 6, block 18. Map of section number 1, West Oldsmar, parcel number 22 28 16 96660 018 0060 into the corporate limits of the city of Oldsmar and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2018-13, and it requires a public hearing.
This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to address this item? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing for discussion. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Another one on top of it. Thank you.
Agreed. This-
Mayor,
Yeah.
this just brings to mind that a lot of people don't know that back in the olden days, you had to read.
When you were mayor?
Yeah, no, further back than that. You had to read the total
Oh, yeah.
ordinance.
Yeah.
And we passed
3 times.
3 times.
3 times. And then when we passed the one where John Hubbard was in the midst of it, we passed the
Land Development Code, wasn't it?
land development code, and we had to read it in its entirety.
Oh, wow.
It took us from 8 o'clock in the afternoon all the way into the next morning.
Oh, my God.
And we took turns reading that stupid thing. I just want to say, now we just have to do what Tom just did.
And normally we get 1, maybe 2 at a time. We're doing 3 this time because they're all the same landowner. So at any rate, any other discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember McKee? Yes. Councilmember Beaverland?
Yes.
Mayor Beavis?
Aye.
Ordinance 2018-13, annexing 3149 Huron Avenue into the corporate limits of the city of Oldsmar is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Okay, item number 12 is a reading of ordinance 2018-14. These are changes to the Land Development Code pursuant to the work sessions that were held on April 30th and September the 5th. I'll read this ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2018-14, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending certain sections of both the Land Development Code and the Town Center Development Code to permit microbreweries and brew pubs, to provide definitions for microbreweries and brew pubs, to provide development standards for microbreweries and brew pubs, to include regulating outdoor storage and disposal of byproducts and waste off-site, screening of loading areas and mechanical equipment, and exempting microbreweries and brew pubs in all districts from the distance requirement from church, school, and residential uses, and providing an effective date. That was the first reading of ordinance 2018-14 by title only.
This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to address this item? Yep. Andrew?
Andrew Knapp, 314 Vista Cruiser Lane. I was looking over the, proposed amendments to the code, and it just seems like there's some ambiguity with the definitions between microbrewery and brew pub, and then comparing it between the Land Development Code and the Town Center Code. Excuse me, just looking at the other page here. It kind of seems like in one section, the brew pub is required to serve food, and then the other one, maybe not. It's kind of like it says may offer tastings. No, it says may provide full course meals, including offering by food trucks. But then the other one, it doesn't make any mention of may offer food or food trucks. So I don't know if there's any distinction between why it's supposed to be, worded that way in the one section and not the other.
Marie?
Marie Daphne, Planning and Redevelopment Director. For the microbreweries, those are permitted primarily in the industrial district. The industrial district doesn't really permit, restaurant uses or more than 50% of the use to be devoted to food. So we're kind of expanding that and allowing them to have food trucks. But they can just have a tasting room if they want. So we're trying to allow them to do more than what would be permitted right now, just instead of just the manufacturing portion of that. And then the brew pubs, like, would be in a C2 district. You can have food, but you could have a bar. You don't necessarily have to provide food. So we're trying to give more flexibility to the breweries.
Yeah, it just seemed as though that in the one it says may provide food, and then the other one says it does. So, and then the other thing was just that in the definition for microbrewery, it says brew pubs is included. So that kind of almost seems like it meshes them into one. That was just another thing that I noticed that seemed a little different. So, and I don't know if the right focus is, still if there's any concern with what size of an establishment could wind up in any of these zones. That hasn't been addressed. And I know you don't probably want to stymie it or limit it to being so small, but at the same time, probably don't want some monstrosity that could organically happen over time.
Right, yeah. And I mean, I don't know if you were here, but with the dialogue that we had and when we kind of went through the review, and I know Gabby was doing some research on really what these different things meant, how big they were, how many kegs really is, what does a typical place serve, like Crooked Thumb, and how many of them serve food versus don't serve food. And I think initially we were somewhat restrictive on wanting them to serve food. And when we had the dialogue up here, and correct me if I'm wrong, the dialogue was that for the most part, and Tom can chime in on this, like the ones in Dunedin, 2 maybe of the 7 serve food. Am I correct on that? Or
I don't know.
It's not all of them, though.
No.
It is not all.
It's not all of them. So.
I think the goal that council walked away from the workshop with, that staff did a great job of bringing back to us in the form of an ordinance, was we wanted to keep the flexibility.
I don't think.
Because we still, as a council, have the ability, when we're reviewing things, especially within the CRA.
Sure.
I don't think we have to really worry about it too much. I don't think we're gonna get inundated with beer.
You might be surprised.
Well, you never know.
Might be
All it
surprised.
takes
I
is
still don't think we're
one.
gonna be inundated. By the way, don't you know what the definition of government is? One of the definitions of government is ambiguity.
Certainly. So Jen, just to clarify then, the food can be may or may not in either of those types of establishments, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Anybody else? I know we have somebody hip. Student.
Yeah.
Did they tell you we make you do a little song and dance?
No,
too?
no, I'm not
all
prepared for
students
that.
are required to do that. Or you got to do that. What's that thing called? Whatever that dance is called.
What was
The
that?
floss.
The what?
My kids taught me that. That's the floss, but I'm not
the
going to
floss,
do
yeah.
that.
Want to get down there and demonstrate it for us?
I'm a little busy right now. Shush. Yeah. Go ahead. What's your name and where are you from and why are you here?
My name is Kristen Sanders. I live in the East Lake area of Palm Harbor, so I come here often for the restaurants and the shopping, and you have great community events and the library and the parks. I'm a student of public policy and administration at St. Petersburg College, and I'm here to speak tonight in support of the proposed update to the land development and the town center codes, which would give the breweries, microbreweries, and brew pubs a wider choice on where to set up in Oldsmar. The craft beer industry is booming, and it is revitalizing neighborhoods across the United States. Microbreweries, brew pubs, and tap rooms are more than just manufacturing plants. They are social hubs which bring together locals and visitors. Unlike traditional bars, they are usually family-friendly and in some cases dog-friendly. These establishments are not just for the beer drinkers. They can also serve as venues for meetings, weddings, parties, and other events. My husband, kids, and I had a great time at a cornhole tournament at the Paradise Brewery in Clearwater, which was a fundraiser for the charity Wheelchairs for Kids. Right now, the residents of Oldsmar are going to Clearwater, Palm Harbor, Dunedin, Tarpon Springs, and Safety Harbor to experience these types of establishments. So opening up more areas in Oldsmar to allow these microbreweries, tap rooms, or brew pubs will attract the brewers, and they will not only be providing these experiences to the residents of Oldsmar, but they will be bringing in other residents from the cities nearby as well. There are also a growing number of individuals who travel to visit different craft beer breweries. This beer tourism not only benefits the breweries and the microbreweries, but also the local shops, the restaurants, and the hotels as well. Without the proposed change in the code, Oldsmar residents will continue to take their business to the outside of Oldsmar, and Oldsmar will lose out on the numerous benefits that these establishments can bring. So for this reason, I recommend that you agree to the proposed update to the land development and town center codes. Thank you again for letting me speak tonight, and congratulations on your manatee rescue this morning.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Wasn't even on a bucket list and I accomplished it, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Quick question for you. What's your end goal when you finish?
I started out a long time ago in school, but I came to SVC to finish up. The plan was always to go to law school. But I have young kids now, and they're in school, and I kind of like being home with them. My husband is a UPS driver. I don't really have to work. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I just want to finish what I started so many years ago, and then we'll see.
Good for you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your input.
Yeah.
We love you, St. Pete College people. You're probably about the, how many have we had, 6 or 7?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so.
Who was our first one? Starts with an S.
No, I don't know. As long
I
as
don't remember.
Yeah, and I think she's getting married or did get married, so, yeah, so we
Get an invite is,
One other
Are you going to
thing,
do the floss dance?
Yeah, I'm gonna
in
do
the
the floss
reception?
enough out of you, Gabby.
I went to college all of my life. I don't have a degree in anything. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. You're in good shape.
Mayor, one thing that she did mention is I visited the D Bine Brewery, or I believe it was, it's in Palm Harbor. It's a D Bine. Have you been there? Anybody been there? Well, one thing you mentioned is the culture of the people. It was very unique. Like you mentioned, people had dogs outside. It was right by the bike trail. People were riding their bikes,
Oh, I've
and
been there.
it was a community of a culture of people. And you're right, it really does bring a different group of people to the breweries than you see at a restaurant or something like that.
And I'm not going to make any bet on the floss dance, but I'm sure we'll have several of these within probably the next couple of years in the city of
believe so,
Oldsmar.
Probably will.
Yeah.
do you like a motion for the
Yes, I would.
purpose of discussion?
Yep. Motion?
Approve?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Discussion on this? Thoughts?
I think it's terrific. The feedback from our citizens has been exciting.
Yeah, and to that point, and to Jerry is, I mean, we've had several people that are really waiting for this to happen, and I'm excited about it. Thank you to staff
Absolutely.
for the hard work, and Tom and your staff for really working on this. I think it's going to be a great thing for the city, and so I like the ordinance and the flexibility that it has to, because it is a kind of a fluid and dynamic industry,
Sure.
and it's ever changing, so you don't want to be so restrictive, so. anyway.
Yeah, I'm not even a big beer drinker, but when I travel to other cities, I generally check out one of their local breweries because it's like you want to see something
the
that's
culture.
local to the city and something that's like a sense of their pride. And so I absolutely go, and I don't even really drink beer. So
I was up at a place in Roswell visiting
yeah.
my son and met the people who owned the microbrewery, and they brought us all back there, wanted to show us it was pretty cool.
That's what's interesting about it. I know Kip that runs Crooked Thumb,
Yep.
and when you go and do that, it's not just like going to whatever ABC bar. They're like a proud parent. They really want to show you how their product is and what's different about it. I'm with you. I'm not a huge craft beer drinker, but I tried one. Somebody brought one to the golf tournament yesterday that we were in, and it was interesting. It's going to be somewhere in Dunedin. I can't remember which one, but it's very neat. And they pride themselves in their different types, whether it's seasonal and so. At any rate, thoughts? Anything?
I think it's great that just we're a part of it.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
finally.
fantastic,
Yeah,
you know?
Jerry, I know you got all kinds of thoughts on this, but we can go ahead and skip you and go to Gabby if that's all right.
they might name a beer after you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Actually, when I go to other places, I look for the first antique shop I can find.
They'll call it the Old Stout.
Yeah, the older than dirt stout. All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Oh, roll call. My bad.
Vice Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Positively.
Councilmember McKee?
Yes.
Councilmember Bieber?
Yes.
Mayor Beavis?
Aye.
First reading of ordinance 2018-14, amending the Land Development Code and Town Center Code to permit microbreweries and micropubs is passed with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 13 is request council approval of a purchase and sale agreement between the City of Oldsmar and 580 Center LLC for the acquisition of property intended to be used in the construction of a pedestrian overpass to be constructed in the general vicinity of St. Petersburg Drive and Tampa Road. The property in question is .708 acres. Back in 2015, a Tampa Road overpass feasibility study was presented to City Council, which evaluated 3 possible locations for a pedestrian overpass. As a result of the study, the property in the purchase and sale agreement was identified as the most feasible due to its proximity to the downtown and major employment area, as well as the parcel located on the southeast corner of Tampa Road and St. Petersburg Drive, which the city already owns. Tampa Road overpass is included in the 2018 Forward Pinellas Transportation Alternatives Program Priorities Projects list, but is currently number 6 of the unfunded projects. City will be able to complete the application for funding once the property has been acquired. Staff recommends approval, and I believe Felicia, possibly Marie and Nan would be available to answer any questions.
For discussion.
I'll give it my best.
Yep, for discussion
So moved.
purposes. Second. Thoughts on this? Anybody? I'll start with the Vice Mayor.
Well, I mean, clearly, we have to own the property if we're going to have a shot at getting the funding to move forward with the overpass. So it's kind of one of those, we're in a catch-22. The question is, you know, I wasn't sure if I was in favor of this, but I am, after going through some of the different points on it today. I like the idea of us having this under its current valuation, even though I think it's expensive. However, I think if we were to try to buy it in the future, let's just say we wanted it as some kind of, let's say worst-case scenario that we don't get the funding. I like the idea of having this property, perhaps it's some kind of monument that we can do there, some kind of entrance. Doesn't have to necessarily be the overpass, which would be the preference, of course. And I do think that if we did not do this now, and we wished to acquire that property in the future, that it would cost a lot more.
Yep.
And based on the way negotiations have gone, I would suspect would be increasingly more difficult to get it actually done. Is that fair to say, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. And you know, in the replatting process of the rest of that property, this was kind of negotiated all the way through that process. But yeah, now's the time if you're going to do it. Because we don't know that once those other properties, since they've been replatted or sold off, you lose control of that particular parcel. Who knows who's going to own it?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I speak in favor of it.
Okay. And before I go to the next, I really probably should have done this first. Felicia or Marie, can we address the where we're at right now, which is or Al, we're 6th on the unfunded, and can we address the funded component of it, and can we address the likelihood? I think our initial request was $3.5 million, and we've modified the request, but in reality, and I think Felicia knows some of this because she's participated in this, the reality is it's going to be more like probably $6 million to build the type of structure that we want. And my question is, again, back to the unfunded right now, where will we stand if we do this purchase? Will we change to the funded? Where will we rank? And what do we think the likelihood is of the DOT of A, funding the $3.5 million, and B, funding the 6 or 7 or whatever it would be to move it forward?
Mayor?
Yeah.
Before you get into that, I look at this tonight as buying the property. Buying the property. I mean, talking about I don't think I'll be here if the overpass is ever built. I think I'll be long gone somewhere, which I can't run for council anymore. So.
I'm not putting anything past you. Yes, God?
So I look at this tonight, just buying the property. I don't see why we would go into even talking about the overpass. I really don't.
Okay. Feel good?
So I can't really take a good guess as the percentage or chance that we have for funding. So typically the way something like this works is that you're put on we're on the TA list, Transportation Alternatives Funding. We're number 6. We are on the unfunded. With the revision of our application, including the property, we have a strong chance of getting to the funded category. Now, what does that mean? That's the question. The TA funds only are allocated for Pinellas County at $1.5 million a year. So we have 5 projects ahead of us. So if some of those projects happen to fall out, they become unfeasible, they're all in the city of St. Pete, maybe they can't do them all for some reason, then our project will move up. But the reality is, in this funding, it's only $1.5 million for the whole county per year. So how they slate us in the next phases, it would have to be phased in, obviously. But then, so there's no guarantee of how they would do that, or if we break it down in phases, if you end up with it, there's no guarantee of when. So I think that's the question. I think I answered your question with that. Now, you can apply for other pots of funding as they become available. So different pots but the TA funding is pretty limited.
And to that point, the chances of us getting all $1.5 million, even in 1 year, probably slim. I can't imagine them allocating it to just one project, potentially. But the likelihood of us getting it, say, 3 years in a row to get us to, or 4 to get us to $4.5 million, that's probably not very likely.
It's a slim chance, depends on how their programming is working for this, again, this funding source. And then it's also, I've had experience with DOT on both ends where sometimes they'll change a cost estimate, but the other challenge is that you're preparing a cost estimate prepared by an engineer, which they require in today's dollars, really. So the inflation cost when you get down the road, so say it's programmed in 2024, then you don't know, you don't have a certainty that DOT will pick up any of that extra cost either.
I think Harbor Palms is probably a prime example of how that can happen. So
right, there's no guarantee until it's placed in a work program and you have an agreement.
Right, okay.
That's why I suggest we vote on buying the thing and don't even bring up the.
We talked to Fort Pinellas and they explained to us that once we get this piece of land, it'll no longer be in the unfunded, it'll be in the funded portion. And Felicia's correct that we have St. Pete of like 3 or 4 projects ahead of us, but they're not ready to go yet. We are, so we'll be number 1. So they said apparently that, we'll be eligible for $4.6 million for the overpass, but that might not be enough for the overpass. It's going to be similar to Douglas Road, that we were funded for $800,000, I believe, and each year DOT, gave us more money. So now what is it, 1.6?
Well, we were funded we got $1.5 million in the grant, right? And then it changed and it went.
They kept increasing it, so that's what they do. So once we resubmit our application with this piece of, property, then we could be potentially at number 1. They said, 4.6, but they'll also do their own evaluation. So they're going to use, today's costs as well.
And to that point, are you talking about the 4.6 being a different process than the TA funding of $1.5 million that?
No, that's what Fort Pinellas explained to us. We had sent an email and we're saying, well, what's going on? Because Al asked about.
We were originally on the funded list before they took another look at it and realized that we didn't have the property. Mm-hmm. At the time we were on the funded list, the estimate had gone from 3.5 to 4.6. So that's the last number they have. Obviously, with what's in front of you, the reason we recommended approval was because A, if we want to go through with this, we need to have the property. B, personally, I'd like to have the property because I don't necessarily think it's dead in the water, whether we have another funding opportunity down the road or we want to do something else with the property, we can always do that. But bottom line is we don't know for sure whether we're going to get it. So all your points are correct, but I still think it's a good idea to go ahead and get it to increase our options.
Because without it, we have no option.
Well, for now,
yeah,
you're right. Without it, we can't even apply for the program we know to be in front of us. My issue is simply that the price, and we've all talked about this with staff, if the price turns out to be more than DOT is willing to fund, I don't think we can do the project. But without the property, there's no question we can't do it. And it's possible we could get it all. We wouldn't call it likely, but we can cross that overpass when we get to it.
Wow.
That was pretty good.
Bottom line is, I think, as Councilmember Beverland said, I still think we should get the property. We have options after that.
That's what I'm trying to say. And then the overpass, you don't want to tie a council in 2022 to something that we decide here.
Sure.
I mean, you don't want to do
Well,
that.
and things could change, you never know. I mean, we may have resources that we don't have today, in the future. And that's going on assuming worst-case scenario. But it certainly, we have the opportunity to create some options for us today that may not exist in the near future.
I agree.
Or in the future.
Yeah, we had, I go back to the 5 acres on Tampa Bay. That benefited everybody. Veterans Park. That was $2.2 million, and we didn't have the money for that, but we bought it anyway. And then when I was mayor, I went to Tallahassee, and they gave us $1.1 million back. That benefits everybody. I love the idea of an overpass, but who's it going to benefit?
Well, I think in the end, we'll probably just have enough money for an arc. Just a little
So I think we just vote on buying the property and go on.
Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor. As Eric said, I had mixed emotions, but I think that this is a great opportunity for our city, and especially I want to thank the city staff for your hard work in getting this accomplished. This can be a staple point for our city if we ever eventually do get the overpass done. But I positively am in favor of purchasing this land.
Gabby?
Ready to vote?
Okay, can I share my 2 cents?
Sure.
I've never been a fan of this overpass from the beginning. I'm not sure what it does, to your point. I'm not sure what it connects. It connects nothing on one side, basically to nothing on the other side. We're kind of we pride ourselves on being, a sleepy town with some modern conveniences. I've seen some of these things. I think there's one, I was telling Al today, there's one, it's either between Orlando and Daytona or somewhere there's one, and it is a monstrosity.
Well, there's one on Curlew Road.
Well, and to that point, to that exact point, the one in Orlando or on the way to Daytona, wherever it is, it looks beautiful. It's huge because it's going over the interstate, and that's what we want. I don't want this thing on Curlew Road, if we ever got it, that looks like it's connecting 2 prison yards together.
That's what
I agree.
And
one
so,
at Booth.
yeah, I mean, and you got this thing, I don't know how many kids use it, because you got, at ground level, you've got crossings with crossing guards for these kids to get across. So I never have understood this project. I know it's a gateway. I think we could do a gateway other ways. And even if the DOT funded it, I don't know that I'm still in favor of the idea. Having said that, I agree with Jerry and everybody that, we typically are in the, we acquire land when we can. And, I think the reverse osmosis plant is a prime example. I think the property next door, minus one little sliver that 150,000 would go great towards, would be, we would have done that. The property by the library up to State Street. But we acquire it, and there is an alternative, there's some options with it. And I appreciate all the staff's work, all Tom's work on it. I don't know what the alternative use for this would be, if it weren't for the overpass. So, I think that money could be better suited somewhere else on some of the other things that do have a little bit more potential of probably happening. The property next door is a prime example of that, when we're negotiating or haggling back and forth about price and things like that. I just think the money could be much better used somewhere else, and I really don't think we're ever going to get the funding for the overpass.
I don't either. I would love to have the overpass, but I mean, that's an idea.
Yeah.
That's what you said. It's an idea, an
I
idea
don't know
that
what
I
it
love.
connects. And I don't know what it connects, and I don't know that the DOT is going to fund it, because I'm not sure it truly is going to be able to officially connect to trails. As I'm sure Al's had discussion with you, there's only a 4-foot sidewalk on the north side that won't qualify as a trail and connect to anything. And what is it connecting to, and where does it go, and what does it connect to on the, the south side? And I'm not sure. So anyway,
I'm ready to go.
That's my discussion. Huh?
Yeah, I hear you. Do I think that we're gonna have that? If it means that the city has to dip into its own coffers to pay the balance of it, I wouldn't support it. I'd say put that money towards a parking garage.
Yeah.
But what I would say to this is, I think there could be some other, I think the goal there, be it grandiose, I don't think it really ever was about getting people from one side of the street to the other.
It wasn't. It was
It
just an
never was
idea that
about
sounded great.
It was always about a landmark type of vision when you came into Oldsmar, and I think that's pretty much where that whole vision came from. And I agree with you. I mean, if it looks like it's, going from one prison yard to the other, it wouldn't have made any sense. But I don't think people envisioned it that way.
No, I
think they
don't,
envisioned something.
but
That all being
comes at a
said,
cost.
I think there are some alternatives to that might be much more within our reach in the future.
If we can.
More land.
Yeah, but and to that point, my biggest concern is it's really not land, it's a lake. I mean, it's a pond. It's not, we could never build anything on it. You might be able to build something in it. I don't know how that would go over, but it's not like it's a parcel of land that could be developed into something per se. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well-
But we're buying a pond.
You don't know what can happen in the future.
Right.
Well,
They might fill that thing in.
I doubt it. I mean, it's a stormwater pond for that whole community, but, so.
One last thing, I did some research. I rode my bike through that area just to test it out. The south side is no problem, but what you mentioned on the north side, there's like nowhere to go. There's like a little bridge in the way. You can't even really, it's like 4 feet. You can't just barely get through to get by Flamestone. So that is a problem.
And to the point, just for the public, Al, this would be a pedestrian bridge, and if there is any thoughts of it becoming a golf cart bridge, that probably is not something that would fly.
The program for the grant is a pedestrian bridge, so we wouldn't qualify for any of the grant money if we were trying to create it to be something else.
And I will tell you, I've lived here for 11 years and I have never once walked across in the crosswalk across Tampa Road.
Yeah.
Ever.
You jog or ride a bike, or,
No,
She
not
didn't
across.
swing a rope
Because I
across
don't
it.
want
I
to
don't
put my
think it-
life at risk by crossing Tampa Road.
But she gets in her car and drives across.
I
it.
drive across, but I'm saying, potentially, yeah, right
I
now,
have,
it
but
doesn't connect anything.
But our office was
Long-term
in the
goal,
580
when the
center.
downtown is built, yeah, you potentially, if you were working in the industrial area and you wanted to walk across for lunch or, yeah, I mean, it's a grandiose dream, but when has that ever stopped us
Well,
from?
and to that point, and I think somebody at some point, I don't know if it was the engineer or who it was, that the ideal location to me would be somewhere near Flamestone that connects into this.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that makes way more sense,
Yeah.
but, I don't know.
Mayor, could I suggest we vote on this and go on?
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to, I had some concerns on it, and so,
That makes sense.
yeah. Let's call the roll, because I'm sure there's, may be a different vote.
In a second.
Oh, can we have a motion? Oh, yeah, we had a motion and a second for discussion.
All right. Vice Mayor Seidel,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki.
Yes.
Councilmember McKee,
Yes.
Councilmember Beverly.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
No.
Request to, purchase and sale agreement between the City of Oldsmar and 580 Center LLC for the acquisition of property intended to be used in the construction of a pedestrian overpass is approved with 4 votes for, 1 vote against. Mayor Beavis dissenting.
Item number 14, request City Council approval for a change order to work order number 4 from RFQ 2016-02, purchase order 27692, payable to Stantec Consulting Services. We're asking council to approve a change order to a work order in the amount of $35,323.06, which would create an amended total of the work order not to exceed $60,323.06. City Council approved a cooperation and license agreement between the City of Oldsmar and Tampa Bay Lightning Foundation on August 7th, 2018. The agreement's purpose was to provide the construction and programming of an outdoor roller street hockey rink at the Oldsmar Sports Complex. City issued work order number 4 in the amount of $25,000 originally to Stantec Consulting Services on August 17th, 2018, pursuant to the planning and design services agreement from that RFQ. The work order included comprehensive design and permitting services for the facility's construction. As the amendment will place the total work order over $25,000 threshold, it now requires city council approval. The basics here are that we've asked, after originally submitting the purchase order to Stantec, we've significantly added to the request for the design and permitting work we're going to need for the rink we want to build. So because the dollar amount of the change order is over $25,000, we're bringing it back to council and we recommend approval.
Thank you. For discussion, need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Quickly, Al, can you, I mean, while we're not necessarily happy with the price, can you kind of give us the Reader's Digest version of, because we're already dealing with Stantec on this, it really doesn't make any sense, even though we might be able to do it a little bit cheaper, they would have to start over again or something to that effect?
Well, the project started when we got communication with the Lightning about their role in helping us build the rink. So with the technical design of the original planned rink, we were able to get a quote from Stantec, keep it under $25,000, or exactly $25,000, so it didn't require council approval. When we saw the rink we wanted built, we saw a rink that the Vinnick Foundation had built in Tampa. It was far more elaborate than what the Lightning was offering. So we were asking permission to do that rink with the contractor that the Lightning use to do the rinks they have in the region, or that they're going to have in the region, because we'll be the first in Pinellas County. But because of that, it's a far more elaborate footing. It'll involve a canopy, which was not part of the original program. So it's way more elaborate in terms of scope and design. The flooring will have actually special tile. The way the original deal was made, it was essentially a slab of concrete and some dasher boards. And there actually is one in Tampa that's nothing more than that. We like to think of ourselves as first class, so the first step here was, with what we asked Stantec to do, it was based on the bare minimum, and now that we're going to shoot for a much more grand, elaborate rink facility, it requires a lot more engineering work, a lot more design work, because the structure is more elaborate.
Right, and I think you said, I saw the one that you went to over Channelside area, whatever you want to call that, that they did, that the commissioner even came to the ribbon cutting of.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning rink. And then you also saw one, where was it at? Up in North
There's one in North
Florida?
Tampa, off Florida Ave. That's the one that's just dasher boards and concrete. It looks terrible. The concrete has cracks in it. There's seals on the concrete. So it basically looks like a slab of concrete that's cracked, and of course, concrete's going to crack, but there's no cover on it, and it's just dasher boards. The one in Winston Park that the Vinnick Foundation built as part of a rebuild to the Boys and Girls Club is engulfed in the slab, engulfed in the dasher boards, fencing, canopy over the whole thing, special tile for roller or street hockey, first-rate nets, all of the emblems, lighting, scoreboard. It's gorgeous, and it's kind of, Felicia, Chip, and I went over to look at it, and we're like, this is what we want.
Yeah.
In order to get that, obviously, it's still got to come back to council, but we're asking these guys to get working on the plans for that, which are far more elaborate than what we started with.
I'll make the motion.
Can I have a motion? Oh, thank you, Jerry. Can I have a
I'll
second?
second it.
Second. All those in favor of discussion, any thoughts on it? I mean, we strive to be better than others.
We got a beautiful BMX track right across the street.
Yeah.
Next to it.
Well, I mean, ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, next to it.
It's just gonna make that whole park better.
Well, and ultimately, the baseball facility will, be upgraded, so we want that to be a first-class park,
Yep.
sports complex. So any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 15, request council approval to waive bid requirements and direct the annual purchase of library materials to be from Baker and Taylor, awarding the purchase under the same terms, conditions, and pricing as the State of Florida contract number 55101-500-ACS-17-1 with a piggyback form of 18-003B. Baker and Taylor is a major supplier of our library books and materials nationwide. The Oldsmar Public Library has historically purchased approximately half of our annual books and materials from Baker and Taylor each fiscal year. Funding is available in the fiscal year 18-19 operating budget. in library and materials accounts, annual expenditure to Baker and Taylor under the state of Florida contract is anticipated to be approximately $40,000. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second? Any thoughts on this? I don't know, Susan.
It's every year. We do this every year.
Yeah, I purposely decided I was not going to give her a hard time, because I do every time.
Yeah, but her husband's here, you know, kind of cool.
I do ask her every year.
Do you need anything else?
In fact, yeah, because 2 or 3 years ago, they never asked for anything else, so I put it in the budget, $5,000.
Yeah.
And her eyes sparkled.
They do a great job down there, especially with the ever-changing technologies of communications and books and things like that. So, any other thoughts, Susan? You got anything? No? All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 16 is authorize the city manager to renew agreement with Susky Consulting LLC. In January 2018, city solicited proposals for consulting and lobbying services via RFPQ 2018-029. 3 proposals were received for monthly service agreements ranging from $2,500 to $5,000 a month. As a result of this process, the city entered into an agreement for $2,500 per month with Susky Consulting LLC beginning February 1st and ending September 30th, 2018. The consultant, Alan Susky, has agreed to continue providing services for the city in fiscal 2018-19 with an expanded scope of work for $3,500 per month, plus miscellaneous expense reimbursements not to exceed $250 a month. The firm will provide necessary consulting and government relations services for the city before the Florida executive and legislative branches and other entities on issues related to the city's infrastructure and other funding needs. Staff believes it's in the city's best interest to continue the established working relationship to finalize current projects that may provide substantial benefit to the city of Oldsmar. The cost of the agreement will be $35,000 per month or $42,000 for consulting for the year, plus annual expenses.
$3,500 a month.
What did I say?
35,000.
Okay, I was trying to go high, I'm sorry. 35, I had typed it wrong and it said 3,500 per year and I was going, I gotta say that right, so I screwed the other thing up. 3,500 per month, yes,
My
sir.
hair belt felt like
42,000 for a year.
dance.
I mentioned in the budget workshop that I had budgeted, we anticipated Alan reissuing a proposal for his full salary or his full fee, which is $5,000 a month. I told you that I would do my best to try and get him not to charge that because I don't think they had significantly proven to us that they had successfully gotten us something that they were hoping to help us with, most specifically that being the legislative ask on Harbor Palms. As all of you know, nobody except Tarpon got any money out of the Job Growth Trust Fund, and with Mr. Corcoran's elimination of most of the projects, everybody on our side did what they were supposed to do. Very few people got any results. So where I am in favor of maintaining a relationship with him, I think this is partially a win because he didn't try and charge me the whole thing. And he is valuable to us in some intangible ways that we've already taken advantage of. He has some contacts with state agencies that we need, and he has successfully put me in front of a few decision makers in those state agencies that has helped. So I may not have been as big a fan when we started this because very few small municipalities have lobbyists, but I am in favor of this one. He's highly regarded. He's kind of a young up-and-comer, and he's got a lot of contacts for people that are going to be very important to our future, especially financially in the next 5 years or so.
Sure.
So I recommend approval.
Motion for discussion? Second?
Yep.
Motion and a second. I'll give you my 2 cents. I think, not just necessarily Alan Susky, but although I've had him as a legislator for some of the boards that I've been on, both state and federal legislators.
You mean lobbyist?
I'm sorry, lobbyist. That, we have found in some of the other boards that I'm on that to be competitive, especially at like the transportation level, when you're competing against Miami-Dade, you have to have those to give you the advantage. The other component to that is, and I don't know how many, but a lot of municipalities have lobbyists. I don't think it's becoming more and more common. And I can tell you, I know Alan, and Al can attest to this too. I think Alan's relationships are very valuable, especially given the legislature that is going to slowly be rolling into Tallahassee, with Sprawls and Jamie Grant and all those, and he's got great relationships with all of those. So I think that positions us very well. And to your point, by no fault of Alan's or anybody else's that we didn't get anything, nobody got anything. So that's my 2
Well, you can
cents.
judge it after a year, and then you can judge it after a year, what kind of progress he has given.
Well, and I think he had his position very well to get some money, and that when everything got yanked.
Especially for as late as he started.
Right.
You know, and the fact that we didn't have anybody representing us in the Senate.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Correct. That was a huge.
I mean, it was a pretty big deal. I mean, when Brandis' office put the plug in the budget on the Senate side for us, you know, that was part of that relationship.
Yeah.
And so.
Very good point about the Senate. Yeah. So anyway, so hopefully we'll have some representation that has a great relationship with Alan as well coming up November 6th. So anyway, any other thoughts or
I
discussion?
spent some time with Alan in Tallahassee last year, and he introduced me to quite a few people, and as Al just said, he really is well-known up
And he's
there.
from around here. He's
in
so
Pinellas
he's from around
County.
this area, which can't hurt. So
But also,
good guy.
what is his guy, RJ? He's RJ, he's a great guy too.
Yeah. So.
He's a hustler.
Yeah, he's well respected. So, and I know when Senator Latvala was there, you know, one of the things when we signed a lobbying agreement with the state legislator that they originally had picked, Jack said, I would advise you to get Alan to be part of that team as a sub-consultant, you know, for PSTA, and worked out great. The two together worked out well. So anyway, I think it's, and you know, after a year, you reevaluate. So.
Yep.
Anyway, all those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We've asked for item 17 to be pulled.
Okay.
We'll revisit it and plan to present it at November 6th.
And the reason being is we're waiting for some feedback from the lighting on that component, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. City Clerk, do you have anything?
Happy Bosses Day.
Well, there you go.
Bingo.
Wow.
There are 5 bosses.
You're the first one that said that to me today, so.
I'd be talking to some of your people.
That's it, man.
You wish your wife happy Bosses Day, Jerry?
I wish her happy boss day. I don't
Every
say
day.
it that way, but every morning,
Every morning.
because she is the boss.
Yes, we know that. And Dan, you wish your boss the.
I didn't, but Ann told me I should.
Yeah, absolutely. If you know what's good for you, I definitely would. So, thank you, Ann. City Council, first item, cancel the December 18th, 2018 City Council meeting. This is
I move.
Okay, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Going camping.
Oh, that's right, you're going camping. But we do that, I mean, we've done that for the past several years
Yeah.
anyway.
I thought you said last time you were gonna nominate it for the lifetime to remove it.
Yeah, I
Permanently
did.
do away with it.
In fact, I made the motion.
Yeah.
I think we leave that to future councils to decide what to do, so. Next item is move the January 1st, 2019 City Council meeting. Where do you want to move it to? I like it here.
I like Thursday.
Thursday.
Sunday morning?
Saturday morning,
Wait, what's our options?
Saturday morning.
No.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday, second or third.
Thomas, Thursday okay with
Third
you?
seems to be more.
Because actually, I'm gonna be traveling back
Oh,
on the
here we go
second.
again.
It's always Dan.
I mean, I could make
Dan,
it.
it'll probably be
Tom,
me
can
too.
you make the third?
so.
Yeah.
I would be happy to be the only one here, okay? So y'all just go.
Gary's
might
gonna
actually
request
get-
all kinds of
You
things
might
on the
actually get a
agenda.
vote.
Wouldn't have a quorum, but doesn't mean you wouldn't try.
Y'all could give it to me in writing. Jerry can vote for me.
Oh, okay.
So you
He's got a
can't,
meeting. Can you send somebody?
Yeah.
Okay.
well, do you want to do it Wednesday then?
What's that? Is that the second?
Yes. Yep. Just take to it in the second.
There's not going to be anything on it.
Second, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, then
Second.
then the
Can
second.
you make
then-
the second?
Yeah.
Second? How are you scheduled, Jerry? Good? for the
You
second?
okay with the second?
You want to check with the wife?
Sure.
You're not going camping?
Yeah, I'll make it.
Are you gonna be, are you
No,
there?
I'll be
is
there. I'm
never
not gonna be- I'm not
March.
missing.
Wait,
All
are you leaving on the
No,
third?
I'm coming back. I'll be fine. Don't
those in
don't-
favor of January 2nd?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, 5-0.
Was there a motion?
Yeah.
We just need a consensus, I don't think, right? Do we need a motion or no?
Oh, I guess it's not.
Huh?
You can do it by consensus. You don't need a motion.
Yeah, that's what I thought. See, that's the legal side of me coming out.
Yeah, look at
Oh,
that.
yeah, I used to watch Perry Mason.
Yeah.
You can explain that to your kids what that means. Next item is council comments, and we'll start with Mr. Beaverland.
Thank you for who you are.
Racky?
Thank you, Mayor.
I'm foregoing the whole
I guess everybody wants to go home.
council member thing.
All right, I just got a couple really quick things. First of all, I want to, for the barbecue was a great success for the Historical Society. As Jerry Antozzi said, I cooked. I want to thank Matt Clark for bringing a pie. Everyone enjoyed your caramel pie. Thank you. Katie, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you being there. And then Eric, I don't know what kind of pie, with lemon meringue. Thank you for bringing that pie.
It was memorable.
I can tell that.
Pie, I remember his pie.
You know, Clark shows up with his home run, caramel Australian thing.
That thing was good.
I got a key lime pie from Publix, okay? I couldn't sell them on that. I made it. They were like,
Matt made the pie.
oh, I know.
And then,
I didn't know that.
You ate one, served one, ate one, served
No.
one.
and then Tom, I guess you got the food. We brought it over to the firehouse. Did your guys get all the leftovers?
Good.
We had some hamburgers left over.
Had something left over.
And then did you guys get to try that caramel pie?
It was gone when I got there.
I bet it was.
How about the key lime? Excellent. I feel good. Thank you, Tom.
You can always depend on the fire
I
department
know
to
it.
clean
It's
up.
perfect.
And then on Saturday, I want to just say I'm looking forward to working with everyone. Gabby, you going to be there?
Yeah.
All right. Jerry, you going to pour beer with us?
You guys can't pour beer without me.
Nope.
I'm the professional back there
I'm
running the ship.
actually, I'm gonna have my new knee. I'm actually looking forward to not being, being able to be there the whole day. I'm looking forward to that.
The whole day.
Whole day.
Well, at least
Well,
the time we're
maybe I
there.
might.
Pyramid at the end too, so save your energy.
That's
Oh,
right.
your favorite, the pyramid. You showing up? Al's on top.
Won't be letting anybody on the bottom for about very long.
Bar. That was
Another pyramid.
No. All right. I
He's
have,
just gonna carry us on his arm. Amy?
I have one last thing.
Okay.
The council members who are running for reelection and the new people have been out on the trail in the community. And they've been getting their petition cards signed. And I just want to say that I'm the guy that is kind of a new guy, but I've been here for 3 or 4 years. But what I want to say is it's something, a culture in our city has changed. And I really think that this is very unique. Actual people are actually calling me or sending me texts or emailing me and saying, hey, Matt's been to my house. Andrew's been to my house. Can you come and can you drop off a card at my house? It's a unique thing going on in our city, and I think I want to just thank the candidates for your hard work in building a culture in our city that is something very unique, and never seen anything like it in my life, and I just want to thank you guys. And that's all I have, Mayor.
I have found that for years here.
Well, like I said, like I mentioned, Jerry, I'm the new guy. I'm trying to, I was on my own, and Gabby, you know how it is. We were on our own, but now it's something different.
It is something different. I couldn't agree with you more. I love telling this story. It goes back to the very first time I ran in 2006. Something. It was a long time ago. I'd walk up and knock on the door. I had somebody else with me who was helping. They were out knocking doors, getting cards signed. Hi, I'm Eric Seidel. I'm running for Oldsmar City Council. How's the city doing? Are you a Democrat or a Republican? I'm like, well, sir, actually, it doesn't matter because we're nonpartisan here. And Democrat or a Republican? He had the screen door open, his windows were open, and I said, well, sir, I'm a member of the Republican Party. He slams the door and yells, the only good Republican is a dead Republican. So I go,
You sure you don't want to sign?
that's exactly what I said. I said, so I guess the yard sign's out of the question. But it has changed. It wasn't always like that. But that was one of those stories that always stuck on my mind. So you do candidates, when you're knocking on doors, something like that happens to you, just go on to the next house. But, and that was actually probably about 3 doors away from Doug's house, just so you know.
Oh, Al's house?
Wait a minute.
I've never had anybody ask me for.
It's happening more than once.
Oh, it's happened to me.
When I was running
Democrat
against
or
Gabby, it
Republican?
happened.
Well, you know what it is?
It doesn't happen anymore.
You have the advantage of going to people that you already know. So they already know where you're coming from, or they're trying to figure it out for years. And
This is
Or if they say, if I just sign this, he'll go away.
this is the easiest year I've had. I mean, everybody's called and called and called.
Yeah.
But when I ran the first time in 1990, I had someone call me, and you believe in abortion?
Oh, wow.
And I
Lost
said,
control.
I said, "Oh, ma'am, do you believe in abortion? I said, well, we don't discuss abortion in.
Would be the
But we are now.
She said, well, you might go higher. I said, I'm not going to go any higher. I'm not leaving the city of Oldsmar. I said, I'm going to tell you something, because she was a pro-choice. Is that what they mean? No, she was against abortion. And I said, ma'am, I'm going to tell you something. I said, if it's between my wife and a child, my wife and a child, my wife means more to me to spend the life with me. I said, well, I'm going to ask you a question.
I was just talking about the guy saying a bad tough good.
Wait a
This is
minute.
really.
I said, if I
Taking the candidates and wow.
I said, if I choose to abort, I'm killing her. Yes, you are. I said, what if I choose not to abort and my wife dies?
Wow.
I'm killing her. I said, either way, you lose.
Yep. Where do you stand on gun control, Jerry? I'm sorry.
I'll tell you right away, I got a gun at every window.
Okay.
Some in the flower beds. Some in the flower beds, right?
Yeah. Hey, back there, wake up.
Hello.
Yeah, in the flower
Everybody
bed.
might as well be involved in this thing. Move on. On that note, let me tell you a story about when I went campaigning. 407 years ago. Eric, you got any comments? No? Good.
I have a serious one.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we should think about adopting a city up in the Panhandle. As hard as I got hit, I heard the death toll was up to 29. Has anybody heard that?
Yeah, I heard 29 today.
They still can't find people.
Yeah, and so I know when we did that once before, I think Deb and I were talking about it. We did with Slidell, Louisiana.
We adopted Slidell.
Went up there, some of us went up, and we worked hard to try to collect things they needed. I don't know that from our, I don't know if it's time to identify today who would be best to adopt, because they're really still in a lot of those places in search and rescue still. But I think it's something as a
I agree.
council and as a city,
Well,
we
yeah.
could rally behind. And I know our people, we've got some people already doing stuff, and maybe kind of help channel like who's catching up with who, and do that formally. We all know this.
Yep, I agree.
Could have been us.
Oof.
Could be us next time. You know, could be
But you
Pinellas
need to
County.
identify what the word adopt means, because I know
Right.
we gave them money, but
Yeah, well, we sent them supplies too.
And you went there.
I'm sharing with Operation Pop Drop, just doing some stuff too.
But if the council is okay with it, I'm willing to take that on to investigate and with staff and try to look for.
Al's got a suggestion?
I have a suggestion. I haven't got the call yet, but I'm told that the city manager, Mariana, is going to call me looking for suggestions, advice, help in how they handle recovery. Mariana, as is explained to me, I didn't look it up, is close to us in population, might be a much larger landmass, but that might be a good place to start, since I should be talking to their city manager the next day or so.
Did Mariana get hit this bad?
Not as bad as Mexico Beach, but, and ironically, sadly, Alan Susky's granddad lives in that area. So he's been up there for the past, just rallying, trying to get things squared away.
I've been to the Mariana JCs.
I bought my car McGee in Mariana in a barn.
Yeah.
But see what you.
Kind of
find
our
out.
size city, clearly in the path. Maybe that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I
it's a
love
great
the idea.
city. I like that city.
Okay.
Great, good idea.
Do it.
Good idea, Eric. Thank you.
That's all I got, Mr. Mayor. Oh, I do have one other thing. Don't forget, Friday, 11 o'clock.
You bringing donuts?
At 11 o'clock. Or Saturday, rather. Oop, Saturday at 11
Say, what are we
o'clock.
doing Friday at 11?
Saturday at 11 o'clock. And it's over at 5, Dan Saraki.
I know.
Your wife already approached me about sneaking out or
she's
That's all I got, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have a lot. Congratulations to Deb. Well deserved, well deserved. The things you do behind the scenes, not only for me, but the city is just great. Getting us in front of whoever we can get us in front of. I don't know how many times you're part of the reason I carry 2 damn blazers around in my car. She'll call me and say, Channel 8 wants to do an interview with you. I'm like, on the phone? No, in person. Oh, great. So I'm in shorts and flip-flops and I put a blazer on and nobody knows that I'm in shorts and flip-flops.
You're always in shorts and flip-flops.
I am not. Look, I got pants on. No socks, but I got pants, so.
There you go.
And congratulations to Mandy and all the work and to Deb for Connected City, which is a big priority for us in whatever form it takes. So congratulations to her. I have a request of council only in the sense of if you have a consensus. Last meeting or meeting before, Gator obviously stepped down as the poet laureate. He has come to me with another suggestion, a young lady named Amanda. I know Ann has met her, correct, or talked to her. Gator said she's got a little bit different style, but very eager and willing to help with us and make herself available to us. If the council is okay with it, I'll have Al put it on the agenda so that she can come and introduce herself. I can't recall, was the poet laureate, was that a quarterly thing that we asked them to do? Was that what the original request was?
No.
They were gonna come quarterly and give us a
It's like
poet?
twice a year, once
Twice
a year.
I can't, is it in whatever it was that we dubbed them poet laureate?
Resolution? It
Yeah.
might be, yes.
Okay, so if we can revisit that and then, is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Okay, perfect. I don't have anything else. Yeah, keep everybody in their thoughts and prayers up in Mexico Beach. I mean, I don't know how you help, part of that city because it's not there anymore. I mean, they're literally gone. So the houses. And I was listening tonight on the news on the way over here is, part of the thing that is really tragic for them is that the insurance costs were just getting astronomical for them and others, and even in other parts of Florida, that it made it cost prohibitive for them to even have insurance. So they rolled the dice.
A lot of them don't have it.
They don't. Couldn't afford it. It didn't make sense. The cost of the insurance was more than over time was more than the cost of the house that they had. So they're definitely looking into how we can rectify that for the state of Florida, because I think as everybody knows, we're a donor state when it comes to homeowners insurance on many levels. So at any rate.
My brother lives up there.
Yeah, my daughter's oldest son's dad's family lived up there, and they sent a picture down with the tree right through the middle of the house, and I don't know if they lost anybody or not. So, but it does show you just how powerful those things can be, and when they tell you to get out, they mean get out. And unfortunately, a lot of those homes were a lot like our older homes down in old Oldsmar. The old wooden structures, the bungalows, and the things like that. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers.
The one house in Mexico Beach.
Yeah.
They built it, overbuilt it, and it's the only thing standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it.
Yeah, they overbuilt. So at any rate, yeah, and keep us posted. I don't, we can probably do this through emails because we may want to start this ball rolling faster than our next meeting. So.
Well, I'd be very, very careful with that.
Okay.
Sunshine law.
I was going to say emails to Al.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll let Al communicate kind of what
just
we're
don't
doing.
communicate.
Just don't respond back to it.
Don't respond if Al.
Say each one of you are responsible for raising 5,000. Just don't respond back and know that it's a commitment.
No reply alls, please.
But if you, or at least keep us up to what your conversation is with the city manager up there and things like that. Anything else? Tom, you got anything? No? Al?
That's right.
Kathy? Steve's doing better, right?
Thank you.
Good, so adjourn.